Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Not many hours has passed since I recorded my last video for you, and already so much has happened. Well, much more important things are happening as we look at the big picture. But yesterday, Nicki Minaj, some of you know who she is, some of you probably don't. She is one of the best-selling female rappers. She's an artist, she's an entertainer. She was a guest, a special, very, very special, mucho especial guest at the event, Turning Point USA event. And she was brought on stage by Kirk. And she said few things. She said many things, some of which actually I agree. And that is about Nigeria and what's happening to those poor people there who happen to be Christian. So she is bringing that topic into the bigger audience, and that is something to applaud, I have to say. But she had could you say a Freudian slip? What is that? Well, a Freudian slip, let me read this. It's actually, let me show you what I'm reading, because I'm not remembering all of this. I'm not going to pretend that I know all of it. I know what it means, but the explanation is always good to look at this. A Freudian slip, also known as parapraxis, is unintentional error in speech, memory, or physical action that is though to reveal a person's hidden thoughts, desires, or suppressed feelings. So what happened really? She said few things, among which she called J.D. Vance an assassin. Is he an assassin? We're going to play that moment from her doing this, and I will give you my comment on that. We will start today actually with Charlie Kirk talking about Nicki Minaj. For example, Nicki Minaj and few others who are entertainers and this kind of vibes. And then we go to J.D. Vance and what he said. I think he said those things before Nicki Minaj. That would be absolutely Muppet Show. And of course, we will follow up on our topic of the topics, and that is what is really going on in the world and how the next 10, 20 years will look like. And I want to address something before I play those videos for you, that predictions, I would say, very much possible, if very, very highly probable. I wouldn't say 100% certain, but very close to certainty that a lot of things will happen. And that will be presented by someone I didn't know at all. I didn't know about him until yesterday. And I will explain the story as well. So stay with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, free of charge, thumbs up, really helps with the algorithm. My yesterday's video is blocked in many countries, YouTube informed me. So I am not demonetized. However, a lot of my videos are demonetized or they are partially demonetized. So that's another level. That's why I want to say thank you to Patricia. I'm going to email you, Patricia. Thank you so much for another very generous donation on PayPal. You know, I am really immensely grateful. It's really touching to see how people are supporting me, guys, and it means a lot. Doreen as well. Vlado, thank you so much for ordering my books. I will email you in a few hours. Charmaine, yes, I received your donation. That means your payment for the book. And Marzanna, dziękuję bardzo pani Marzanno za e-maila. This is in Polish. Thank you so much for your email. And I will get back to you as well. Thank you so much for your donation. And thank you everyone who is watching my videos and leaving the comments and liking the videos and buying my book. This is my merchandise. This is my so-called baby. Book number 1, Matilda and Odo's Adventures. Fantastic book for kids, beautifully illustrated, very unique, one of a kind, and definitely will inspire your children to ask questions, to travel the world while we still can. and to have great relationship with animals. So let's first take a listen to what Charlie Kirk had to say about Nicki Minaj before we play that moment with Nicki Minaj. Okay, so let me mute myself, guys. I found the right video. I will play it again. Let me just mute myself.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
And what do you think about for young men? For young men.
So I didn't play it longer because I have the better video with her saying what she thinks about young men. So that's what Charlie Kirk said. Now let's go to that moment, incredibly awkward one, and then I give you my opinion, my few cents, what I think took place there.
And what do you think about for young men? For young men.
And for young men, don't be new scum. Yes, see, dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did. I love you. I love you. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart. I will not judge that.
Sister. Thank you. For boys, be boys.
Amen.
Be boys. It's okay.
So boys, be boys. It's okay. What do you think happened? Well, I think there are two ways to look at it, in my opinion. When she was saying what she was saying, that means that she believes truly that J.D. Vance is involved in assassination of Charlie Kirk. Just J.D. Vance assassin, that means he's involved because he wants to be the next president, right? And she didn't realize what she said until a few seconds after, and then it was too late. So that's one way to look at it. Second way is, this is how the mind control works. So maybe they are both under some very strange mind control program. I'm not an expert in those programs, so I cannot speak for that. But I believe the first interpretation of that is probably closer to the truth, in my opinion. So that's what she really thinks. It just came out of her. And Erica Kirk, in her, not the best, but still acting, kind of was trying to save the day. You know, I was watching yesterday J.D. Vance speak, and now we're gonna go into him. I have to say, guys, that when I look at that crowd that was applauding like that crowd was applauding her for anything he said, pretty much. I was thinking to myself, are they forced to do it, or they really believe it? Are they so not thinking clearly or being realistic? Because I don't live in US anymore, but some people wonder why I speak so much about United States, because it was my home. It wasn't 20 years, it was 17 years I lived there, a little bit more than that, less than 18 years. But that's a significant amount of time. So I have a lot of my, I wouldn't say behaviors, I wouldn't say habits or perceptions of things are still deeply rooted in my life in the US, because I've learned a lot of things there and I was experiencing a lot, and I was becoming, I was living there for a long time. So you get used to certain things, right? And I felt yesterday, oh my God, this is the US right now. Even though I'm not there anymore, I was thinking to return there for some time. Now, I don't know, guys, I don't think I will, because I think it's going to be really, really Orwell style, in my opinion. And if things go according to the plan, which I think they will, the digital ID and the control, you're gonna hear about it from the person I will bring to you today in one of the videos. JD Vance is very important in executing that. So let's go to that moment with JD Vance. I'm not gonna play a long video, just this part in which he is talking about faith, Christian faith.
And this is the moral truth we strive to center in our work in the Trump administration and in this great movement of ours. A true Christian politics, it cannot just be about the protection of the unborn or the promotion of the family, as important as those things absolutely are. It must be at the heart of our full understanding of government. Why do we penalize corporations that ship American jobs overseas? Because we believe in the inherent dignity of human work and every person who works a good job in this country. Why have we worked without the help of Congress to restrict H-1B visas, for example? Because we believe it is wrong for companies to bypass American labor just to go for cheaper options in the third world. We help older Americans in retirement, including by ending taxes on Social Security, because we believe in honoring your father and mother rather than shipping all of their money off to Ukraine. We believe in taking care of the poor, which is why we have Medicaid, so that the least among us can afford their prescriptions or to take their kids to see a doctor. And it's why we are outraged at the injustice of Tim Walz allowing Somalian immigrants to defraud that program to the tune of billions of dollars. It ought to go to Americans, because that's who it's there for. Now, I want to close, my friends, but I have heard you. I know that some of you are impatient at the pace of progress, and my response to that is good. Be impatient. Use that desire for justice for your country as fuel to get involved in this movement in a bigger and better and more powerful way.
So I will show you a few things with JD Vance now. First, he said about Christian values, right? Faith that has to be engraved, I'm paraphrasing, but has to be like the foundation of the US government. So I'm going to show you the video again for the second time when he was celebrating Hanukkah. This is why so many of those members of the US government are involved with the cult of Chabad Lubavitch? Are those the faith, Christian values? Tell me. And how is he convincing people now to be impatient? He's telling them it's good, be impatient, right? So it will make you more eager to be more fanatic in whatever side they want you to choose. It's really hard to listen to this because people are being so brainwashed and so manipulated. It doesn't matter this side or the other. And they still don't see it. Meanwhile, Epstein files redacted all over the place, right? You see something, you don't, then something else is artificial intelligence, photo op, whatever. And of course, arrests of those who deserve them. Where are they, right? Forever, takes forever, right? So yeah, watch what they do, not what they say. So now let's look at what he said and let's look at what he did.
Come to Vice President Vance's Hanukkah party with me.
So thrilled to have you here at our house. A terrible terrorist attack in Australia as people are gathering to celebrate this amazing holiday with the greatest country on earth. I think that's an amazing thing. And with everyone,
Hanukkah. 1, 2, 3, and let's go.
So I showed you this few videos ago. I know a lot of you don't watch every single video. That's okay, because you don't have time, and I understand this. I will continue with doing what I'm doing because it brings awareness to people. So this rabbi that you see, I forgot his name, unfortunately or fortunately. This is the same rabbi who was present at the White House during the celebration of Hanukkah at the White House. So when Trump was there, when Lutnik was there, the rabbi was there. Because this is the rabbi from Chabad Lubavitch that is designated by Schneerson, the rabbi, the Messiah, they call him, to be in charge of the US. So US is his territory. So how is that, J.D. Vance, that you are talking about the Christian values and then you are celebrating Hanukkah? Because I don't think every Christian person does it. Does those rabbis also celebrate the holidays that Christians celebrate? It's a simple question. Because they always say, but you're welcome, you don't have to be Jewish to celebrate it. But do you celebrate other religions' holidays in a way that they do, like Muslims, or do you go to Mecca? Do you go to Catholic Church? Do you do it? Hypocrisy at the highest level. So where shall we go now, everyone? Let me just mute this one. Okay. I think we're gonna go now to, yeah, actually, let's go to this video. This is not yet the one that really is important today. One of the most important videos I'm gonna play for you, 2 of them. But some trouble in the paradise here. Just came across this and I wanted to show you because they are very peaceful. They are human beings, you know, they all get angry. They all just punch one another. Doesn't matter what is the holiday. I don't know who is fighting with who, but here we go. Yeah, if you know what happened, is it about money? Or is it about the influence, or what is it about? No clue. But they're just humans, you know, but they are better than everyone else. So I'm surprised that they are fighting. I'm being sarcastic, of course. So now, guys, let's go to the person that I really want to bring to your attention, because he speaks about things that I have been researching very, very briefly, just 2 months. You know, this man looks like he spent years and years doing his research and studied this case of what the world will look like for the next 10, 20 years. But before I play his video, I want to say a few things. And I think this is important for you to give a few minutes to listen to this, what I want to say. A lot of you have been following me for a long time. And of course, you know the people that I have been interviewing for many years, since the conflict in Ukraine started, right? Well, it started earlier, but I'm talking since 2022. So for almost 3 years, right? And you've seen the number of videos, live streams. I met them in person, most of them, and I collaborated on the book, all of that. And a lot of you are wondering why I'm not inviting anyone from those people anymore. And this is coming from a place that is very genuine now, and I want to say it with all the respect for all those hours that we had spent together collaborating. I think that was important for people to learn, to hear the other side of story, to see other things. However, keep in mind, I am really grateful and respectful, but I also believe that as they showed up in my life for a purpose that was important, so I showed up in their life. No one is better than the other. That's how I look at it. Under God, we are all the same. All right. But in this world, people tend to say this person is more important than this person. I don't think like that. I think that we all serve our purpose, whatever this purpose is, regardless of that. Several months ago, I started to feel that it's almost like beating the same drum that is only repeating things or following the military movement, but I couldn't find the answers to, so what's really going on? Because it was not making sense anymore. And I explained that before to you. And I stopped talking to anyone. The reason was I was not resonating with that any longer, and something didn't feel authentic. It was almost like a, how you say, like a chore, repeating this, interviews, asking questions, getting the answers, but it was almost like repetition, like the same. In a way, of course, different dates, different events, but you know what I mean? Like all was coming back to Putin is good, China is great, all is great, everything is great. And this is the West is bad, the East is good. And I was on that train as well. So I have to own it. And I'm not playing a victim, but I knew that something was not fully that way. And thanks to you guys, I have to say thanks to you, because some of you started to leave the comments under my videos. And several of you left the name Chabad Lubavitch. And that is because of you. I went on that journey to do my own research within that topic. And that started to really open my eyes. I have not watched anyone for a really long time. I'm not watching anyone anymore. I'm literally just doing my own research as far as if someone resonates like now, I will watch one video or two, and then I go and I do my own research. I'm not following people anymore. I just want you to hear this from me. And the reason is because I stay more open-minded, not influenced, not cluttered with all those ideas. And I started to do this research. I started to see how this is really all about Great New Israel and Heavenly Jerusalem, Khazaria 2.0. Putin is one of them. This is totally all in alignment, and they have to perform a certain way to accomplish certain tasks. It's actually pretty simple when you are really looking into it. So today, again, I want to say thank you to those of you who left in the comments yesterday the name of the person that I was not familiar with at all, because I don't watch anyone anymore. So I found him and I said, you know, let's take a listen what he has to say. So his name is Professor Yang. I'm not going to say the last name because I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to play 2 videos. This is perfectly explained to those people who still don't see the big picture. What's going on right now? This will explain to you the moves, political moves that many leaders are making, the situation in Europe, partially in Russia. He doesn't really explain Russia here too much, but I'm trying my best to explain to you through all my videos lately, most of them. And he will give you the prediction for the next 20 years. And then I will give you the comments from me. So thank you so much for listening to my spiel. But I think it's important because a lot of you spent hours with me for so many years that you are wondering what happened. But some of you are very intuitive and very aware because you are good observers. So you know what's going on. So let's take a first look at this short clip. He will explain to you the reasons for the illegal migration, the wars, and all of that mess.
Sense is America's war on terror. Yes, I understand that America was attacked on 9/11. I understand that. But why did that go attack Libya and Iraq and all these other places that have nothing to do with Al Qaeda? Okay, and the answer is they're trying to create something called the Greater Israel Project. They're trying to have Israel become Pax Judaica, the grand power in the Middle East, because that's important in all secret societies. Israel must become the dominant power in the Middle East, okay? So this helps us understand why the war of terror happened the way it did. Number 2 is, right now, America is threatening to attack Iran. Why would they do that? Because in order for Pax Judaica to come into being, Iran must be taken out of the equation. Iran must be destroyed. Then if that would happen, there'd be no challenger to the power of Pax Judaica, okay? Does that make sense, right? The third thing is Silicon Valley and AI. So right now you have AI, ChatGPT, which doesn't really do anything, okay? It makes cool images on your computer and helps you cheat in school, okay? That's about it. It doesn't really do anything else. And if you don't go to school, then you're like, why am I using ChatGPT? And you're not gonna pay a lot of money for it. So AI, it's a dead end. But at the same time, all around the world, everyone's spending billions, trillions of dollars on data centers, right? So everyone's putting money into AI. But then you're like, well, how can you make money off that? If you think the answer is for you to use AI, well, it's hard to make money off that. But if the answer is to create an AI surveillance state, that makes a lot more sense. So what is a surveillance state? Very easy, guys. We have it in China, okay? It's digital ID and digital currency. And the idea is that everything you buy, everything you do will be tracked. And so they can create a profile on you. This profile will tell the government who you are, how you behave, what you think. Not only that, the government can also manipulate how you think, how you behave. And this is, of course, called the mark of the beast. And so that's what Pax Judaica is. Pax Judaica is a global AI surveillance system. It also helps us explain immigration in Europe, because the war on terror, you've sent these millions of refugees from Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq into Europe, which is causing a lot of conflict in Europe. Why would that happen? Well, for Pax Judaica to come into being, you need to destroy the world. I'm not saying this is true, but I'm saying that if the goal is Pax Judaica, it does help us connect the dots. It helps explain why things are happening the way they are. Last thing is anti-Semitism, okay? So you may have noticed, if you're online, people don't like the Jews. And this is like out of nowhere. After October 7th, you have anti-Semitism all over the internet. Now, I have criticized Israel before, okay? But anti-Semitism is not the same thing as anti-Zionism, right? Zionism is the belief that Israel is a chosen people and the promised land and all that, okay? But Judaism as religion, it's perfectly fine. So why would people not care about the difference between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, okay? And you can argue it's all purposeful because remember, the part of the plan is to force the Jews to return to Israel. That's very important for this plan to work out. It's key. That's why you are seeing so much anti-Semitism around the world today. Okay? And the last thing, of course, and this is something we'll discuss, is something called the red heifers. So red heifers are red cows that are perfectly genetically modified. You have to sacrifice the red heifers to purify the ground in order to reconstruct the Solomon's temple, okay? And guess what? They've already sacrificed the red heifers. So it seems as though everything is in place, all right? They're moving towards Pax Judaica.
So pretty much he said what I was saying, just not in such a good English and not so smoothly. But if you watched my videos in the last several months, I spent hours and hours because, preparing this takes time and energy, right? So predictive analytics, that's how you call it, correct? They plan ahead. So what is this next 10, 20 years is going to look like? We're going to go back to the same professor from the same video, but this was an Instagram clip. Of course, I will attach it down below in the description box. Now we go to the original video that I will also attach the link in the description box. So here is his prediction, predictive analytics for the next 10, 20 years. What the world will go through.
So let's discuss what will happen in the short term and in the long term if Pax Judaica really is the end goal, okay? So right now, Israel fighting wars everywhere, okay? The main enemy right now is Iran. In Europe, you have the Europeans about to go to war with Russia in Ukraine. America right now is threatening to attack Venezuela, okay? South America. You have 10% of the US Navy in the Caribbean, and they're about to attack Venezuela. You have China and Japan at conflict. You have India here, and you have Africa, okay? So what's going to happen in the short term? Okay, well, what we know is that Europe is planning to go to war with Russia. Okay? Europe is about to go to war with Russia, okay? At the same time, you have a lot of immigrants in Europe, and this is going to create civil wars in Europe, okay, civil war. So you have both war with Russia as well as civil war. So Europe is kind of screwed, okay? America has the same situation where the left-right divide is so polarized that eventually they'll go to war. If you read the news, you may have heard about the shootings at Brown University, as well as this MIT physicist who was shot, okay? So random violence will be more and more common in the United States. And you can argue that's all deliberate because the idea is this. Let's just say you have a jar. You put red ants in a jar and black ants in a jar. They get along fine. But you take the jar and you just shake it up, and now they're at war with each other, okay? That's what's happening, where the left and right, they really don't like each other. They don't talk to each other, and they refuse to engage in debate with each other. But they're not going to fight each other unless there's violence, in which case their tribal mentality takes over and they start killing each other, okay? So we can expect civil war in the United States. Then you're going to have the Americans start to attack Venezuela and possibly other countries in South America. So America is in for a bad time, okay? China, yeah, I mean, Japan and China and India, they're all going to have conflicts with each other. But also what we should expect is that America starts to embargo China, meaning America uses its sea power to block China from accessing resources from overseas. And China imports most of its oil and a lot of its food. So if there's a blockade of China, you can expect the Chinese economy to really suffer, okay? All right, and then what we can expect to happen is America at some point will go to war with Iran, and this will destroy both countries, okay? Iran will not lose this war, but it won't win this war either, because America is just gonna bomb the crap out of Iran. It's gonna send Iran back decades. But America will lose this war, but this is important because if America loses war, it's forced out of the Middle East. And once it's forced out of the Middle East, all its military assets goes to Israel, which creates the Pax Judaica. Yeah, does that make sense, guys? That's the plan. Okay, now you have Pax Judaica. And what Pax Judaica will do is start to control the world. Because through chaos and conflict, Pax Judaica can make a lot of money, right? Because Pax Judaica, what's going to happen is that you have these technology companies like Google, they're going to move over to Pax Judaica and build a global surveillance state. You have civil wars, you need AI to control people. If you're going to war with Russia, you need weapons, okay? But you also need financing as well. So you can expect a lot of banks to move to Israel, and it's possible Israel becomes now the global reserve currency because everyone is trading with Israel. If you're Russia, you need to trade with, you need to trade your resources, right? Oil, energy, and grain, okay? So Russia controls a third of the world's carbohydrates. Guess what, guys? Israel controls Africa. So what will happen is that Russia and other countries will sign a trade agreement with Israel, and Israel becomes the center of global trade. Okay? Does that make sense? So this is how Pax Judaica will profit. And remember that Israel has the world's best intelligence agency, the Mossad. And what they can do is go around the world and create as much chaos as possible. Okay? So while the world is burning, Israel, Pax Judaica, is profiting. And that's what the future looks like for the next 10, 20 years.
All right, so what do you think? I think there is a lot of great points that Professor has presented to us. And actually, when you, again, go back to my previous videos, I forgot the name of that person, but it was during a conference, a business conference, and he was talking about the future of Israel, and he was advising American Jews to leave Florida, to leave New York, to leave US and move back to Israel because it's going to be booming. I'm sure some of you have watched that video. A lot of sense. Putin is cleaning up the area. Zelensky is making sure Zelensky will forever stay in his position because he is important. That's why Putin did not remove Zelensky, not because someone could be worse being replaced after Zelensky. It's not the reason. It's not, in my opinion, the reason is because both of them I am absolutely certain actually about it. Both of them know exactly what is the plan. And they are executing this because Chabad Lubavitch is present both in Moscow and in Kiev, as well as in most of other capitals of the countries. And again, what he said about the migration in Europe, absolutely. Absolutely. Civil wars and starvation in many areas, not all the areas. People rising up. So how you control them? By the digital systems, digital money, artificial intelligence. So you wonder, maybe Australia is the best place because no wars. I was thinking about this too, but Australia is also going under the digital ID, digital currency, and surveillance. I mispronounce probably the word state. So look at this. This is the big picture. All about the great new Israel project. So Pax Americana is coming to an end, or already has came to an end. Now this is the next stage. Is it going to be next year, 2 years? Well, he said 10, 20 years. If you watch other videos of his, because I skipped through some, I went through few, it's important point that he's bringing. He's also saying that we almost, in his words, paraphrasing them, we almost have to experience all of this, like the evil, because this is truly, you choose Christ consciousness, you choose God, or you choose Satan. There are no other ways, right? So he's saying that we have to go through this, we have to not really, well, maybe if you say allow, but in a way kind of that to come all the way up to the surface. It will look like it has succeeded for us to overcome that and to really go within ourselves and find that God within us. And I know it sounds really bizarre what I'm saying, but that evil has to come out first completely. So if you watch some of his videos, you're going to hear it from him saying it in different words, of course, but in the essence of what he said, that's what he meant, I believe. So buckle up, everyone, because like I say, you have to have a strong spirit, be really in tune with yourself, know that there is divine guidance within your life. There is divine presence, God's presence watching over you. And you will be facing continuous choices. You choose Satan or you choose God. You choose light or darkness, evil or good. That's how it's going to look like, in my opinion. And we're going to end with the rabbi. First, I'm going to read you who he is. This will be Rabbi Iser Zalman Weisberg, who is a prolific author, educator, and Talmudic scholar associated also with the Chabad Lubavitch movement. So let me find this video because he's going to tell you, in his words, what is going to come. Here we go, from the rabbi himself.
The entire biblical land of Israel, from the Nile to the Euphrates. It will encompass not only the Jews will settle the entire biblical land of Israel, from the Nile to the Euphrates. It will encompass not only Gaza, Yehuda, and Shomron, but also the entire Lebanon, parts of Turkey, Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. The Talmud in Shabbat 32b says that when Mashiach comes, every Jew will have 2,800 non-Jewish servants. This is based on a verse in Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. The Jews will settle the entire biblical land of Israel, from the Nile to the Euphrates. It will encompass not only Gaza, Yehuda, and Shomron, but also the entire Lebanon, parts of Turkey, Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. The Talmud in Shabbat 32b says that when Mashiach comes, every Jew will have 2,800 non-Jewish servants.
So that's the vision. I keep on repeating this almost, well, not the 2,800 servants, right? But now I know this number. I wonder why they have chose 2,800. What is so significant about it? How did they decide that number, not 3,333 servants or 3,330? That would be like, right? Or 6,660, for example. So guys, that's all I have for you today. I will attach all the links down below in the description box. I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. I know that a lot of you have used to me having guests, but I would also ask you to respect my choices as well, because I promised myself when I started this YouTube channel that the most important thing for me, one of the most important things, is to have integrity with my soul and with my heart, and to follow my intuition. And if something does not resonate, and if I feel that I am not being authentic, I cannot do it. That's why I went on a solo journey lately, and I've learned a lot. I'm not saying I didn't learn before, I did, but it was still partially true. Now I think we are, those of you who are aligning with my way of seeing things, of course, to some extent, or to a big extent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And again, like I said yesterday, there's no crowd on the leading edge. And if I would be just focusing on having more views, making more money from YouTube advertisements, right, from the ads, I would continue with those interviews. From the money standpoint, that was not a good move. But how can I if I don't feel that I am truthful to myself anymore? Because now I feel I am actually much more clear about what's going on in the world. So some of you will understand me, some of you will not. I respect that too. But I hope you will stick around, because a lot of us are on this journey for a long run. And trust me, we will be discovering a lot of things as we go along. And in a way, we need each other, even though we cannot hug each other, shake each other's hands. We need each other because this is still a form of energy exchange and a sense of, I know it's virtual, but still a kind of sense of connection. And it's important because sometimes you don't have anyone physically present in your life that you can rely on. And sometimes even feeling understood by someone on internet, leaving the comments or getting an email or just feeling the presence of another person makes you feel better. And I hope that I have that presence to some of you, that I bring you some, in spite of the topics, that I bring you some good energy. I know it sounds weird, but I hope in spite of it all, I still do. So thank you so much for watching. I am very, very eager to read your comments. What do you think about the professor that I presented to you? Thank you, by the way, for introducing me to him, to those who left the comments yesterday. And links will be down below in the description box to support my work. The best way is to order my book, Matilda's and Odo's Adventures. You can make a payment on PayPal, and then I will be emailing you, and you send me your details as far as the mailing address. You can donate on PayPal, become my Patreon. That is huge support as well. That's monthly, locals. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's AniaK_44. You find the link again below the video. And that's it, everyone. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, guys.